I wanted to talk. I was watching Alex Bregman go deep yesterday. He was my pick for AL MVP coming into the season. Ice water in his veins. The guy loves the big moment. I knew yesterday was going to be tough on Jose Altuve, and it was. You can tell. It's bugging him. It's been bugging him for a while. Bregman, on the other hand, was a rookie in that situation. If you walked into an environment where Carlos Beltran tells you he's got the signs, and you're probably just going to say, yes, can I have him? All right? Doesn't give him a pass, but he was put in a tough spot. That being said, he shows up top one, Domingo Germán, and takes him to the bridge. And he's been one of the best players in the game since he's broke in. And he's got a different style of going about it from an offensive presence. And I want to get into it. Can you pause this real quick? Because I want to dive in for a second, come off this, Lucas, and then dive into the sound. You hear so many people on social media talk about different ways of hitting. You've heard me talk about the fact that you can't cookie cut it. You hear me talk about things that worked for me might necessarily not work for the next guy next to me, my teammate next to me. Alex Bregman, in talking to him and watching video on him, thinks something that I don't think any other hitter in the big leagues thinks. And we're going to get into it. He actually thinks about getting the knob of his bat almost in front of the baseball and almost pulling his left arm directly across his chest. Talk about feel versus real. I mean, can you really do that? Are you really trying to get the knob of the bat in front of a ball moving this way? I don't think so. But if it works for him and it sets him off to be one of the best players in the league, then I'm all for it. Let's get back in because we're going to hear him talk in his own words about it right here when he's discussing it in a cage.
Well, for me personally, I never ever think about rotation at all. I think I have two flashlights right here on my hip pointing that way. I'm on my shoulders, on my hips, on everything, my feet. And all I am trying to do, the only thing I look for is when I load, to have my hands travel high across my chest forward like this, the knob of the bat get out there past the inside part of the baseball. I am trying to do this while keeping everything facing directly that way.
Timeout, pause that. Are you kidding me? Who thinks that? I know I never heard anyone talk about that in all my time in big league clubhouses playing with some of the game's greats, right? But it works for Alex Bregman. And if there's a player at home watching this right now in the minor leagues, youth level, and it unlocks them in the cage, go get you some, because this is unbelievable. And it's what he kind of does. This is the side angle of his homer last night, and this is why I wrote it down and wanted to take a look at it. Run this, Lucas. He literally pulls his front arm across that Houston and tries to get the knob of his bat in front of the baseball, stay inside it, get his bat on plane. It is crazy. And rack it back one more time for me, because he talks about, now bring it forward, go. As soon as his foot lands, stop. Talk about it right there. His hips are starting to come unglued. If we stopped Francisco Lindor in this same spot right now, his hips are completely gone. So something that maybe Frankie Lindor, a guy who's struggling, that's hips are moving a little too quick, spinning versus rotating, maybe take a look at Alex Bregman. This is a guy who thinks about flashlights pointing off his body, trying to keep him square and staying square and letting the swing take him out. Feel versus real. Is he really doing that? Is he really dragging the knob of the barrel across his body? Again, Xander Bogaerts, another guy that I'm obsessed with watching hit. The ability to get on top of a fastball. And in today's generation of, and I don't even want to say it, launch angles and all these things, here's a guy who thinks get on top. And when he faced Jacob deGrom in Citi Field a couple days ago, Jacob spoke of this approach in the Zoom conference after the game. I want you to take a listen to this.
They're, staying on top of the fastball, but it didn't help that I couldn't locate it down. So they were able to look at that up portion and be able to, stay on top of it where, normally I can change eye level. So wasn't able to locate and stick it down.
Pause. It's the greatest player in the world, Jacob deGrom, talking about getting on top of a fastball. that I've seen multiple people forever on social media over these trying to teach the kids, no, we don't get on top of the ball. We don't get on top of the ball. It's not a matter. You're not chopping down on the baseball. You're creating in your mind an approach to be able to get to a Jacob deGrom fastball. The spin rate these guys are creating right now in today's game, come with me for a second. If Xander Bogaerts thinks that he's going to get on plane with a Jacob deGrom 99-mile-an-hour fastball, put it on plane and keep it on plane, there's just no way. He's going to pop it up. Jacob deGrom is creating so much spin rate on his heater that it's almost getting a little bit of a rise as it approaches the hitting zone. So if you're seeing it out there and you're not honoring that rise, then you're popping it up. So what do you tell yourself? I'm going to swing half a ball over it. You literally, big leaguers tell themselves and are good enough to execute swinging half a ball over the actual ball to create the visual of I'm staying on top. You're not chopping wood. You're giving yourself an idea to combat the spin rates of a Jacob deGrom. No one does it better on a nightly basis than Xander Bogaerts. Run this. I mean, he's telling himself, I'm getting on top of the gas. Watch this. He's not getting on top of this baseball. He's not chopping wood. That's level, actually, a little bit up through the zone and probably a double roaster off the monster right there. So two different guys that think two different things and are super successful at the way they go about it.